gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment you've all been waiting for, and it's... what night is it?
Saturday night.
The lockdown is really playing with my mind, which is why I wanted to talk about time. Yesterday we were talking about counting and numbers. We've spoken Arabic, and Saturday is the 7th day of the week. Number 7, it's known as the Sabbath or Shabbat for our Jewish friends. So on the 7th day of the week, I thought I'll talk to you about time, because we've been on this lockdown for what feels like forever now, and people have been asking me, do you think time is going quick? Is it going slow? I said, time has stopped. But Dardasha, I'm still calling you Dardasha, online.
I was checking the sound.
Is time going quickly or slowly for you through this?
Time is going slowly, but I'm happy. I'm not complaining about time going slowly. Because just before the lockdown, I was just wondering, dreaming, if I could ever stop the time.
Okay.
And just have some relaxing time and everything just slows down in my life. I never thought that would happen.
Stop time like Bernard's watch. Does anyone remember the cartoon about... I was watching it a few years ago. And this boy gets given a watch that can pause time. And whoever's made the watch gives it to the absolute worst possible option in the world, because he never does anything fun. He never steals anything. He never mugs anybody. He just uses it to do good deeds, which is probably why it's a good example for children. But what would you do if you had a watch, if you had Bernard's watch, and you could... Don't worry, the video is just frozen. If you could stop time, what would you do if you could stop time?
Well, I did. Have I not just stopped the time now? We're on lockdown. I have, plenty of time to do anything I want. I can relax. I can meditate. I can read, write. I'm not traveling anywhere for the first time. I have the holidays, but I'm at home. So yeah, I feel like I did actually stop time now. Somehow. I know a lot of people are stressing out being locked down, but to be honest, until now, I'm quite relaxed. I just feel like I needed that time myself.
I think it's the uncertainty, but time is only measured. Some people say like there's no such thing as time. There are only events, and time is what we measure the space in between the events. So if there was absolutely nothing happening in the universe, if there were no events occurring to measure, would there be any time? What would be the point of it? And Triple T is saying this woman is the only woman on earth happy on lockdown. I don't know about that.
Triple T, there are a lot of other women that are happy too, trust me.
Or men, or children.
Yeah, some children, they don't want to go back to school, believe it or not. They're very happy to be homeschooling, from their parents for once. For once, we have the time to read with our kids, give them the time, have dinner, lunch, breakfast together. Yeah. It's almost like it's always been rushed, breakfast club, after school club, like most of my daughter's life is just... I'm rushing her from one place to another to get my work done. So, yeah, for now, I am happy. I'm just hoping that no one gets ill, hopefully, and we get through this as soon as possible as well,
Yasser Ali is saying, who is the guy co-host, Julian? Who is the new co-host, Julian? Hope you are. Yasser Ali is the producer of where this all started, my career in talking to people live, and this is the new producer, Yasser. You've been fired, and Sarah has been hired, and we're very happy to be working together and making lots of content. Yasser, come back to do something, please. We need to produce some kind of podcast. And if you've been watching a lot recently, Yasser's brother has been helping me do some conversations about what's happening in Sweden. Sweden still haven't got much of a lockdown, right? They are.
I'm not quite sure.
They're not taking it as seriously as some other places, but apparently New Zealand have done very well and are almost on the way to recovery.
But everybody's saying that the UK is not taking it seriously either, because today a lot of people have been out. They're either wearing sport clothes because their excuse is that they walk, their exercise for one day.
So people are wearing sports clothes
And
so that
carrying
they can...
shopping bags and the other excuse. But everybody was out because no one is able to help it. The weather is just so beautiful. Yeah. So.
Well, the guidance is 1 hour a day or essential shopping trips, and try to keep 2 meters away from other people, which most people have been coping with quite well, in my experience. I saw a guy today, a friend from a gym who I'd not seen in a long time, Rida, if he's watching. And when you see someone you haven't seen for a long time, you're like, you want to go for the hug, but don't do it. Don't hug anyone unless you live with them. So, going back to time and how we measure time, we'd like to be bilingual on this show, as we have an Arabic teacher whose channel is Dardasha. Someone put that in the comments, please, so you can find it. What is the Arabic word for time?
Waqt.
Waqt. Say it with me. Waqt. Are there any other ways you can say time?
Well, you can say sa'a, which is, like the watch, isn't it?
Okay.
Sa'a.
So sa'a could be hour.
Yeah.
And could also mean a watch.
Waqt, as in time.
Yeah. Hello, caller. We'll get you on in just a second. Any other time words?
Are you thinking of any other words?
We'll come back to it. We've got a caller. Who's this? Welcome.
Hi there, it's really understand.
Welcome, Mac. Welcome. Right on time. Right on cue. And Hassan Radwan is
Right, every word that she said
is in the chat.
Waqt and sa'a is it, but we say vast and we say sa'at.
The Persians just love to be a little bit different, don't they?
They are quite unique, aren't they?
Okay, so we've got Mac on the line, fluent Persian speaker and Iranian expert. He was trying to tell me that there's a difference between Jum'ah and how do you say it?
To talk about time.
Yeah, we talk about time. Yeah,
It's a perception.
we've got all the time. Why is it a perception?
Okay, if I was to give you an example of a football game.
Yeah. 90 minutes.
Since, like Liverpool playing Man United, and we're winning 3-2, and in the last few minutes, for us, we're thinking, right, we're winning 3-0, why is time dragging on so much? And then, at the other end...
When Alex Ferguson was around, they used to drag it out for him.
Sorry?
When Alex Ferguson was around, people would accuse referees of being biased and awarding more stoppage time for him. But I know what you mean.
This is going to get political. Let me put it to you another way.
Go on.
Say, for example, a girlfriend and a boyfriend had an argument, and
Yes,
then the boyfriend decided to go out and meet his friend.
Is it argument about chess, over a game of chess?
Possibly.
Okay.
Possibly. Or he thought he's Adam and he's superior.
Yeah. Oh well. Yes. Exactly. The time would pass differently.
So while he's with his boys, time for him doesn't seem to be flying as fast. Like he thinks the whole day runs by and he's having fun. Whereas the other girlfriend, that she's trying to call him, get hold of her.
The other girlfriend.
That time,
That's why he's late.
It's like eons.
Now we know why he's late. Look, if I say I'm going to get there at 5 o'clock, that means I'll be there at some point after 5 o'clock.
Your timing is quite like Arab.
Yeah, but your perception of 5 is different to my perception of 5.
Exactly, and time does go differently. To put it in a boxing context, in the club where I trained, the trainer would often let the sparring go on for 5 minutes, 6 minutes, even 7 minutes. and one of the, I think it was someone's dad who was down at the club watching his son getting maybe a bit of a beating. He was saying, "Come on, time. Why? Sparring should be 3 minutes long. A round is 3 minutes, so we box for 3 minutes." And the coach said, "Not every round is 3 minutes. Not every round feels like 3 minutes. When you're winning, a round feels like 1 minute. When you're getting your head pounded in, like I don't know, Deontay Wilder was, it probably feels like forever."
Game, exactly. Like Liverpool winning to them, it's like, well, why isn't the referee blowing the whistle now?
Exactly.
And then United are thinking, oh my God, we ain't got much time left. Like, you see what I mean? Again, it's the same. So whether you can apply it in any situation. So again, it's a perception. That's what I wanted to point out. Talking about time and the meaning of it, we got to also understand the concept of it.
Well, we go live every night at 10 p.m. roughly.
That's what we're here to.
And I start at 9:57. I'm like panicking, and you wouldn't believe the amount of production that goes into making something like this. And Mac and I have to rehearse our script. And in the chat, Hassan Radwan is saying something that I can't read.
That you need me here.
Translate.
Okay. So I asked Hassan Radwan saying زمن أيضا because I heard زمن طويل, you know, and to refer to time as well. And Hassan Radwan wrote an ayah from the Quran. هل أتى على الإنسان.
Zaman means moment, though.
Moment. Okay.
Zaman means moment, no?
Well, moment, time, hour, era, epoch, eon. We're going to go through them all.
Hour is sa'a, wacht is time, and every word obviously has a different, but yeah.
And in the other room, Brian Partridge is saying Happy Easter, lads.
You have
a good time
from
for rebels.
And Nablus as well. But I just want to finish the ayah of Hassan Radwan. Said, هل أتى على الإنسان حين من الدهر لم يكن شيئا مذكورا. So it was mentioned in the Quran, dahr.
Meaning also time.
Yeah.
This word zaman that and Robert Hardy is in the Facebook chat. Hello, Robert. I hope you're watching on both channels. He's over on ITV there, but the main event is here on YouTube. But this word zaman, meaning time or moment, people who study eschatology or the study of the end times, I'm thinking Sheikh Imran Hussein, he mentions ilmu akhir al-zaman, the study of akhir, the last zaman, time or moment. So in that context, does zaman mean like a period within history? Because if you say zaman can also mean the past, right?
Yes.
Min zaman, I haven't seen you for a long time. Min zaman, ya Hassan Radwan. Waynak. Bishtaq lak. I miss you. So, is that a similar translation in the Persian, Mac? Zaman?
Yeah, everything so far is word for word been similar, yeah.
Okay.
But with obviously the slight different enunciation.
Oh,
like,
of course.
We like they say sa'at, but we say sa'at.
That's so different.
We pronounce the T. Whereas there is a T, and I think that it's a silent T for the Arabs. But they say wacht.
You know what, Mac? We're going to go pretty local news now. In the past, you told me that paradise comes from paradis, meaning a Persian word meaning heaven, paradis, and it's a girl's name, right? Paradis?
Paradis, yeah. Paradis is that's where it comes from.
I've discovered tonight this comes from, and Hassan Radwan, back me up if I'm right, paradise is from Firdaus. And the F, because Firdaus, Jannat al-Firdaus, the highest heaven that we're told about.
Yeah.
And there again, you've got I don't know if the Arabs stole it from the Persians or vice versa, but this P becoming an F, Pars becoming Fars, paradise becomes Firdaus, Jannat al-Firdaus. I know it's something that Hassan Radwan strongly believes in.
Interesting.
Or he's looking at it at the moment.
This is the thing. Cyrus the Great used to call himself a Pars, not Fars.
I know, it's the P versus F debate again, but I was interested that it had never occurred to me that Firdaus was paradise.
Interesting.
F and P.
And someone by the name Fadi as well wrote something here to you in Arabic. معك صديقك من نابلس شفير التاكسي فلسطين أنت رائع.
Yes, I miss my good friend. The last time I was in Palestine, and the last taxi I got out of Palestine, he was the taxi driver. And
Wow.
I hope you're well, Fadi. And he was a man who is a father of many kids. I don't know if he's had any since, but I wish all your family and children well. Ya Fadi, miss you, Habibi. Oh, we're getting honest. But watch it on YouTube. Why are you watching it on here? But thank you, anyone, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, we might go Instagram later on.
Also,
but
can I just say one more thing?
yeah,
about
of course you
fasting
can,
as
mate.
well?
Go on, mate.
Yeah. Also, in fasting, with intermittent fasting, as I think it was it your friend the other day? I forgot his name as well.
Barber.
Sorry.
Was it a guy? Barber. Intermittent fasting. Who was it talking about intermittent fasting?
I forgot, but he was talking about the intermittent fasting. I mean, even in studies have shown when they want to perform even tests on lab rats, they deprive them from food because the results of the findings, they realize that fasting in some way your body kind of the way that it kind of responds to that situation is it strengthens your immune system.
Wow.
So that is another factor of fasting that is not highlighted, but it's proven in when it comes to actually in the lab testing with lab rats. They rather make the rats or the when they do the tests obviously fast because the results come out more accurately than if they were to obviously feed them as well.
And do the scientists give them a little iftar at the end of the day?
Sorry?
Do the scientists give them a little iftar at the end of the day before they go home from the lab?
I mean, they did the intermediate. This is what I'm saying. They want it to be at its strongest condition, and realizing that obviously keeping the rats as fasting, their immune system is stronger, so that therefore the results that they want to achieve would be more accurate based on. So it's not only in that's how they actually do scientific with the lab rats, but it's also in humans. It's been proven to some extent, not as just weight loss, but it helps sometimes to boost the immune system.
Absolutely, it does give you an edge.
Dr. Otto Warburg, who's a Nobel
Dr.
Prize
Oetker,
winner for
the pizza guy.
Alkaline,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he says that he could because if you put your body in a state of alkaline, remember there's hadiths of saying Rasulullah eat meat once a week, that is.
Really?
But we tend to want to eat meat after lunch and dinner, but we've obviously ignored that. He says it's mustahab if you do it.
Okay, it's loved.
Yeah?
It's a good thing to do.
It's a better thing to do. Yeah. So
we don't need to eat meat all the time, definitely.
Realize protein is amino acids, and therefore, if your intake is amino acid, your state of body would be acidic, and therefore germs and bacteria, they thrive in some sort of acidic environments.
They say amino acids are good for athletes, right?
Sorry?
They say amino acids are good for athletes to have.
That's protein. That's
Okay.
what meat is, amino acids.
Okay.
So when you eat meat, that's why Rasulullah saying eat meat once, is because amino acid is meat protein, and that's meat. So that's why the less intake of meat, meaning you're not putting your body in a state of acidic where these sort of bacteria and viruses can thrive. So if you refrain yourself or reduce it, then you're putting your body in the state of, as Dr. Otto Warburg says, if you can try and drink out water, if you look at the pH scale, it says on every single water, try and get it closer to 8 as possible rather than the pH 7. You want it more alkaline. Okay. And this is why you mix it with tea, because you make it more alkaline. And when you drink the tea, you're putting your body in a state of alkaline. which does not allow the germs or bacteria to. So as well as the intake of the nutrients, you also got to understand the. This is what Dr. Sebi was talking about. This is how Dr. Sebi was able to. But again, that's a whole different subject. But Dr. Otto Warburg won the Nobel Prize. I can't remember what year it was, but it was for the fact that he realized he can kill cancer in an alkaline state. He can kill most bacteria and infections and this is what he was given a Nobel Prize for. So it's funny how we don't listen to that. That should be a part of our diet, and that's very important. But again, that's part of fasting as well. Intermittent fasting and making sure your amino acid intake is not as much as it shouldn't be as much as Rasulullah says once a week. But different hadiths about that. I'm sure you've heard this hadith before as well, or not? Have you heard it before?
Say that again, Matt. Have I heard that before?
The hadith about eating meat once a week.
Yes, I have. And I've even heard hadiths about beef, about parts of beef being good and parts of it not being good. I think if you really look into it, there are some warnings against excessive consumption of beef. But some people don't go any further than halal haram. Oh, we can't have pork, we can't have everything else. It's always more nuanced than that. There are things that are mustahab, things that are makruh, as you say. There's a broad spectrum of recommended, forbidden, neutral. Yeah, but Mac, anything else on the subject of time before we move on? We've been on the phone 14 minutes, 30 seconds. Wow, and it's felt like, a lot less than that.
No, the time is just, as I say...
Just stand still sometimes.
Again, a key word that I didn't mention, which was relative to yesterday, time can also be seen as a dimension.
A dimension, yeah. So, height, 4D is the fourth dimension, isn't it?
Also a dimension.
Yeah.
So that was just the other little tidbit I wanted to add.
Little gem for us. All right, Mac. Join us in the chat, okay, if you can. On YouTube, not on Facebook.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. See you. There he goes, yeah. Always great to hear from Mac. One of our most loyal supporters.
Yes,
and in the chat, Hassan Radwan, the expert that I knew he was, has said, I believe Firdaus is one of the Arabicized foreign words. Yeah. So the Quran came down in Arabic, of course, but there seems to be a few foreign words that have crept in there. Languages evolve, right? This is how we learn from each other. So I'm not surprised that there'd be a Persian word in the Arabic Quran.
I'd be interested to hear from you, Hassan Radwan, because you have the most to say in this topic, and you could support me when it comes to questions from Julian about Arabic language. The Quran also uses the word asr for time. Yes. وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. So the ayah, and we've studied that together.
And did you know that the word asr could mean like squeezing the time, which is why asir Portugal, for example, is orange juice. Asir means juice because you squeeze it out of the fruit. So asr means time, asir, squeeze. Did you know that?
Interesting. Thank you very much, Julian. And also, Asr being the middle prayer of the day, it's one of the hardest prayer to keep. So a lot of people miss it, and somehow, it's mentioned there how important it is. It came out on the ayah. We read a little bit about it. We've studied a little bit about it, but there's so much to say about Al-Asr on its own.
And prayer is obviously something that breaks up the day. We're talking about time and the passing of time, keeping track of time. The fact that we're not going to work Monday to Friday and then having the weekend, we're losing track of time a little bit. And something like prayer at fixed times throughout the day could give you that concept of time. And then there are things that religion has once a week. You might go to the mosque on Friday, or the church on Sunday, or the synagogue on Saturday, or the church on Saturday if you're a Seventh-day Adventist. But it breaks up the day, the week, the month, the year. And I think part of staying sane is having a routine. If you don't have a routine, you'll just go insane. If you didn't know what time it was, that's why prisoners have to have a regimented timetable, and that's why some offenders just reoffend, because they get used to feeling that routine, that regime. They feel at home under that environment. They escape and they can do whatever they want. They don't like it. We need grounding in our life. We need discipline. And a lot of people who follow religion think they're going to be rewarded in heaven for having all this great discipline, and then they'll be able to do all the things they weren't allowed to do when they get to heaven. I know probably Hassan Radwan agrees with me on this one. But for me, a great reward of following strict discipline is the discipline itself. You get to become a disciplined person. And that is a great reward. Maybe it's better than, I don't know, what are some of the materialistic imagery that we think of when we think about heaven. This could all be allegorical, metaphorical language. Or maybe there really is going to be rivers and we're all going to swim about in it. I don't know. But anyway, are there any more comments? And Triple T is saying, no one thinks that. Hassan Radwan says, very true about routines. We need routines to feel normal. Time and the measurement of time is for humans to order their lives, even though time is relative. It is. That's why we'll be going live every night at roughly 10 p.m.
What are you doing about your time, Julian, on the quarantine?
In a minute. Well, we had a great discovery the other night. I don't know if Hassan Radwan was there for it, but we'll give it to you again. Quarantine comes from the Arabic arba'in, meaning 40, the number 40, and quarantine was originally meant to be for 40 days, like Jesus in the desert. So that was a little aha moment. I'm sure Hassan Radwan knew it already. Arba'in, quarantine, and Ibn Sina
was the one that I think discovered or came up with the Arba'iniya for people to stay so the waba, the disease, doesn't spread.
And they tried to westernize his name to Avicenna so that people could think he was Italian. A Iranian colleague of mine who taught maths was very upset about that.
Yeah.
He said, his name was Avicenna? His real name's Abu Sina. And he was upset about that. Hassan Radwan is kindly saying, mashallah, you improved my knowledge even more than it already is. He didn't say that. Hassan Radwan, you've given me many wisdoms. Is that the plural? And Triple T is speaking on behalf of the entire world when he says, no one thinks we are going to get in the next life that we can have here. And Thomas Rowland is saying, hello, are you going to grow your beard for all of lockdown? I am. Good for you, Tom Rowland. And don't let anyone try and trick you into shaving it off by saying, make a good video.
I will do it. Wait and watch the vlog coming out. I will give Julian a good shave soon.
Never. I remember when Thomas Rowland, as he's known online, first shaved his beard. He grew a wonderful goatee beard when he was about 10 years old, because he was like that. And when he did shave it, he phoned me as he was shaving it. And I remember him saying, it was house phone in those days. This was before the war, the Iraq War. He said, I've clogged the razor, as he couldn't get through his thick, manly hair. And he's saying he's lost the clippers. Good. And you can't run out and buy any because it's not essential. You can live without shaving. Triple T saying heaven will be seeing our family, friends that have passed away. What if they were a different religion to you, Triple T? Do you see them then? Have to think a little bit deeper. I don't know. Maybe you'd see them and they won't see you. John Don is saying hi all. Hello, John Don. Nice to hear from you.
So maybe we should do a vote.
All right.
If people agree that you should have a shave or not.
Okay.
I mean, if you guys can trust me to shave Julian's beard and give him a nice haircut in the lockdown.
Yeah, with the lawnmower. Yeah, we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Okay, another topic.
Maybe we could I don't know. We could do
Let's
something.
see, we've got plenty of time.
Yeah.
Plenty of time to think a lot of things. And about a lot of things.
Yeah.
I trust Sarah. There you go.
There you go.
If Hassan Radwan says he trusts me, then we'll go ahead with it, Julian.
and Tom Rowland is pointing out that's actually sextuplety. Yes, it is. You're right. It's triple T, which is sextuple. There you go. From the Latin. Very good. So, I could bring this up, but if I do, I guarantee Mac will phone back straight away. Are we living in the end times? We're talking about time. Everyone's looking forward, or some aren't, to the moment when the world ends. Oh, is this all a sign of the end times? Let's get down to the nitty gritty.
Okay, well, some says that the علامات القيامة الصغرى, the small signs, have already came out. And we are waiting for the big signs now. This topic fears me quite a lot, so I don't really look into it or read about it much. As much as I've heard or studied in the past, I'm trying to stay calm and don't do it, man.
Okay. Mohammed Thokan is saying don't do it. Yeah, thank you, Mohammed. Another Palestinian brother.
Triple T saying yes, if they were good, we shall re-meet, hopefully, despite their religion. Okay, so the yes was to meet in heaven, not for your haircut. So,
okay.
Yeah, we're getting mixed messages here. Okay, but that's talking about end of times. Yeah. What do you think? What do you have to say about that, Julian?
Well, as much as I love Sheikh Imran Hussein, who talks about the end times a lot, but he never puts a number on it. He's never arrogant enough to say it's going to be this, it's going to be that. He just says, as you say, well, these such and such signs have been fulfilled. I don't know. I think every generation felt like they were going to be the last one. So who knows? Our end is whenever we move on, I suppose. So we need to use the time that we've got. And over the past few weeks, as time has sort of slowed down and almost stopped, you start to get the feeling of the value of time. And things that take too long, maybe you were wasting your time. Maybe, cutting your hair. How much money have you spent cutting your hair? How much time have you spent sitting in the barber's chair when you could just, let it grow? History teaches us, Hassan Radwan is saying, history teaches us that people have always thought the end times are near, but they have always been wrong. So I'm sceptical, but Allahu A'lam, God knows best. Yeah, well, I suppose it's like the story of the boy who cried wolf. The moral of that story is that eventually he was right.
Well, I'll leave your thoughts to it.
Do you know the story of the boy who cried wolf?
No.
Oh, I won't give it away. I'll tell you later.
Okay, can do a bedtime story.
Thank you very much. So, look, if anyone else wants to get involved, the number is now free because Mac has gone. 07491 751 203. Just let me know. Is time passing quickly? Is time passing slowly?
Do you feel the guilt that sometimes you sit down and you don't do anything?
No, I don't feel guilty. Should I feel guilty about that?
Yes. I mean, if I sit down and don't do anything with time and just sit down, I feel the guilt sometimes. I feel like I have to be producing something, I have to be achieving something, either reading, writing, drawing, painting, anything. I just feel like I can't just let a day goes past without me doing anything.
Well, Tom Rowland is asking, what one time-wasting thing will you eliminate when we're out of lockdown? Well, I probably won't be going live on YouTube every night after lockdown. I might every other night, and at weekends. What time wasting thing will you eliminate after lockdown?
I haven't been wasting time.
Oh, sorry.
Tom, Ronald, I've been doing my yoga, I've been cooking, I've been drawing, and I've been using my time wisely, I'd say. I mean, the only time I sit down for an hour or so is now on the show, because Julian makes me.
Thanks for your help.
That was just a joke, but yeah, I feel like I've been achieving quite a lot with my time, and I've been working online as well. I've just done an Easter holiday now, luckily, but yeah, I don't feel like I've wasted time. I feel like there's more things for me to do, and to discover, and to learn.
Yeah.
On the lockdown, hopefully, I'll use it wisely.
I'm thinking a lot about conserving energy, and touch wood, none of us get ill, but because we're all paranoid about getting ill, we end up thinking about how can I save my energy if I'm going to need a strong immune system if I need to fight anything off. So it's almost like becoming more efficient in even your movement around the place. And Hassan Radwan is saying, I enjoy these chats. They're very chilled and have a warm vibe. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Hassan Radwan. He's been very kind. I think these are all the people that we took for granted when we could just meet up and give them a hug. But it's great that we are reaching out through the wonders of technology.
I mean, Hassan Radwan is also saying definitely, because you two are awesome people. Thank you. It means a lot to us that you are all watching, even though it's Saturday night. Somehow, we've got a lot of viewers here with us. So many names of people that we know, and many others that we haven't met yet. And Hassan Radwan, I'm still looking forward to meet you in person after the lockdown. Hopefully we'll do a chat in my channel. I'll be happy to meet you.
Oh, you've never met him face to face?
Yeah, no,
okay.
we haven't.
We've watched so many of your videos together.
Yes.
We feel like we've all been sat around the same table. Tom Rowland's saying he means more generally. There are things we can't do that perhaps we do miss. That perhaps we won't go back to after this. Yeah, the world is never going to be the same again. I wonder, will some of those people that were cheering for the NHS, will they ever vote the same way again? If they voted for people that might want to damage the NHS, but we won't go too political on that.
Hassan Radwan said we did meet face to face at Speaker's Corner.
How could you forget?
Oh, it was just a quick hello, though, I believe, right?
Oh, maybe it was just briefly.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Made him feel not memorable now.
Not at all. No, because I probably have seen you more on Julian's channel and your channel.
That's what it's like when you meet a celebrity. You think you've seen them on TV.
Yes, indeed. Are you going back to Speaker's Corner after this? Do you miss it?
And we've got a call. We'll talk about Speaker's Corner one day. Julian, tell us about the Easter Rising. Well, that happened around this time. Brian Partridge, who was in the chat, knows a lot about that. But we've got a caller. Happy Easter.
This is Hannibal Ross-Trill.
Welcome, Hannibal Ross-Trill. Great to have you back again.
Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, we're good. We're just thinking about time. We're going a bit esoteric. Nothing too specific.
Sorry, say that again?
As in, I've made it deliberately quite a vague topic, and I know time is a very abstract concept. Some people that say it doesn't even exist. What's your take on time and the meaning of time?
Time is like, I think it's a man-made concept, really. I think there is no time.
No, I agree. If there were no events, we wouldn't have any time. Some people wish they could know what it was like to live and just go on living forever and ever and ever. That would be some people's wish. And I think I'm starting to know what that would feel like. Would that be a wish for you? Everlasting life?
Say that again?
Would you want to live forever? If time doesn't exist, would you want to exist forever?
Yeah, that would be great. It would be good to experience.
But what would you do? What would you do afterwards?
I just get to see the world. I'll travel a lot.
You'd never get bored.
No, I don't think so. It's up to you, really. I think I'll keep myself.
Hannibal, hold that thought. Right, we've got Hannibal Rastrill is still on the line, but someone else has joined in. Who have we got?
Sorry, it's Mac again.
Mac,
I wanted to ask Hannibal something.
Yeah. Ask each other. You guys chat away. We'll just sit back and relax.
So we'll finish off what he was saying. What was you saying?
Go on, Hannibal. You're back in.
No, I was just saying that, if I could stay here forever, that I'll be having a lot of different experiences. I'll be doing a lot more traveling.
If you had eternity.
Huh?
If you had eternity to spend, you would do it traveling.
Yeah, a lot of traveling.
Mac, you're in.
I think our life is too short as it is, you know?
Oh, isn't it just? Yeah, life is fleeting.
Okay, so time you lot are saying it's man-made, but obviously in some ways the night has come, the day. So this is not man-made. This is natural. It's a form of yin and yang. So we constructed time so we wouldn't miss each other. For example, if I said to you, let's meet up at 1 o'clock, and I kept that on 1 o'clock, if we didn't have the green Greenwich time mean whatever, then we would have missed each other because we could have all set our times differently. So this is why time, in some aspects, I mean, you say you want to live eternally, but time is more to it than you got to think about. There was a civilization which we don't talk about, which we should be worshipped time, and they were the Aztecs or the Mayans. And all they did for them, the materials of the world wasn't really for them. That's why they tried to say, and it's funny how their calculations of total eclipse and it's so close that they're off by 0.008, or it's the closest basically that they've. And even though they said that it came to an end, but the fact of the matter is they worship time. For them, gold or silver or any of these commodities wasn't important. For that civilization, time, worshipping time, day and night, was more important to them. Do you see what I mean? I hear you. Yeah, I hear you.
Why do you think?
This is before all religions, and this is the aspects. I mean, we again, if we're going to talk about time, we should mention old civilizations and what they thought of time. And again, the Aztecs, the Mayans, they revolved their religion. Their whole worshipping was based on time. So this is how. I mean, I just wanted to weigh that in as well. I mean, since we're talking about time, we might as well talk historical facts as well about the civilizations that actually time meant more than the gold value, what the value of gold is or the value of silver is. For them, that wasn't important. You see what I mean? So that was just the important. So what do you think? What do you think about the ancient Mayans and the Aztecs? Yeah, it's interesting stuff. I just look at time as a social contract. Perception and a dimension. It's like a perception. Basically, if I said to you, let's meet up at like place, or like for example, at a shopping centre, third floor, if I don't give you the time, then we would miss each other. So time is a man-made construction in that sense, yeah. So we would obviously be able to meet, because if we say on Tuesday and then I show up at 10 a.m. and you show up at 10 p.m., then we'd miss each other. You see what I mean? Yeah, I don't agree, because you look at the people that live, for example, in the jungle. They ain't got no watches, and they still get things done normally. But they have their own sort of compass. You know, when daylight is, they see. Even with them, they got to understand the concepts of the 4 seasons, when they can plant seeds, when they know when they can harvest. So these are things that I've been taught. throughout time and history and throughout our ancestors, realizing the patterns. And again, the calendars used to be 360 days for the circle, but as the days and as the Earth is going further away from the sun, the days have been changed, and since 1752, the Georgian calendar, and so all of the. But what I'm trying to say is, there was in history time. I mean, to go around a circle is 360 degrees. So that's why there used to be 360 days in a year back in those days.
Good old days.
When the days were longer, maybe, and the evenings were. I don't know. It was different. So the rotation of the Earth in them times were different to what it is now. So this could be another rolling of getting closer to the end times of me babbling about we will get to the end times, but time, as they said, will speed up. The prophecy about time speeding up at the end of time is due to the fact that we have automation distraction.
So time will speed up towards the end of times.
When you had to make a journey in them days, you had nothing but your horse or your camel. Now we can go from here to like
Concord,
Australia in a 12-hour journey, or I don't know how many hour flight it is. But
the world's getting smaller.
Saying? Whereas back in those days, it would have been a good year or 2-year journey on ships or land and whatever. So I mean, this is what I'm saying. These sort of machinery, they help you make time fly quicker, because you're distracting yourself with the computer, with your Instagrams and your other addictions.
Chessboard, whatever it is.
Yeah, but what it is, we're actually, this is the metaphor of the Matrix world is so very good as in terms of metaphor, because we are living, we're either on social media, this, that, or the other. So realistically, we're living like cyber. Like, we're not actually living in our real world. We post up where we go on Instagram and who we're with, and we're not living the moment. Whereas back in those days, I mean, right now, some families have the discussion when you're at the table, phones down. Why? Because we never used to have this issue when I was growing up.
But let me just tell you why I think time is a man-made concept. Because if you sit down, say you're in your living room by yourself, and you meditate, then time disappears. And there is no past, there's no future, there's not even a now, because the now...
There's logic to time, bro. Because
hold on, let me just finish what I'm saying, yeah?
My bad.
There is no now, because every time you try to pinpoint to now, it's already past. So there is no now, there is no future, and there's no past. It's all man-made.
That's physics.
Yeah, that's just my opinion anyway. I hope you're getting where I'm coming from.
No, I get you. In physics, I've always said this, because what it is, the past, the future, the present, they're all playing out at the same time. And, like, the multi-universe, if you're saying yes in this world, and yes in a different world, or no in a different world, whichever one that you take becomes your reality. So, in actual fact, whether you say yes or no, they've both been played out in physics. And that's why they say there's multi-universes. But the one that you actually choose to become your reality, so when you choose no, that becomes your actual reality. But again, we're getting off topic with the... Sorry.
That's alright. We're never on topic.
I find it quite interesting. And I've done a little bit of study for quantum mechanics and quantum physics. And what they say is that there's several different dimensions at the same time. So we can access those dimensions. All we got to do is make a different choice or different action, and we can access a different dimension right now.
Well, yeah, they're doing that at the Long Hadron Collider, which you're right, they're doing experiments. But they've proven that.
On rats.
There's a video that needs...
On rats that are fasting.
I've sent you a video, basically about sound and the Quran and the healing sounds. If you can somehow do a reaction video on your next... If you see it...
Yeah.
Honestly, look at what I've sent you.
Okay.
You're going to love how sound frequency, because this is another thing. We're even though he's right about this world is electromagnetic waves or fields, frequencies, or is sound frequencies. Even when they say it started with a sound and the sound was God, and he said, "Let there be light." So with that,
not only that, Nikola Tesla said, if you want to understand the universe, you got to think in terms of energy, vibration, and frequency.
Yeah. So that is what I said to Julian about. Well, I hope he can somehow do a
reaction video. That's more of a Dardasha thing. We'll do it on the other channel.
Sort of thing.
That's more their style. They're down with the kids.
It's weird that frequencies affect us as well as not just. This is what I'm saying.
Gentlemen, hold that thought.
5G frequencies, but sound frequencies can affect you as well.
Yeah. Oh, I thought we'd gained a call. Caller, if you're trying to call, do give us a call again. Gentlemen, I'm going to thank you two and free up the lines. But
thank you.
Great philosophizing as ever.
Thank you guys as well. So do you want me to go off?
We'll keep that state. We'll keep you. If the other person wants to come in, we can get two on the line. We've still got Hannibal Rastrill. Whoever was trying to call, give us another call, and we'll get you on. Yeah, you're still adamant that it's a man-made construction, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
there is no time.
It's an important one. Something that did occur to me. When the clocks changed the other day, or whenever it was, 2 weeks ago, and the clocks went forward, spring forward, fall back, always. And I thought, so the sun is now setting an hour earlier. But the sun wasn't setting an hour earlier. We were just calling it a different time.
Exactly. You just made a very good point.
Yeah.
Even if you look at the sun going up and down, all there is just a cycle, but there is no time.
The sun sets when the sun sets, right? And we can call it 5 p.m., 1700 hours, whatever you want to call it, Salat al-Maghrib. The sun sets when the sun sets. And we are just labelling this event like we label everything.
Trouble T did say earlier that the 5 prayers were measured time in the past. So that was quite interesting to say. And Hassan Radwan also joined us to say that he wouldn't live forever in our present human state. If eternity means some higher form of existence, similar to the Sufi ideas of Wahdat al-Wujud, then yes. Interesting. I don't know much about Wahdat al-Wujud. Do you know what does Wahdat al-Wujud means?
What does it mean? Wahda, is it from one? Unity?
Wujud is existence.
Okay.
Wahda is unity, yes.
One existence. Oh, like universe then. Yujad, to find something.
Interesting. But we are learning from one another tonight. There's so many subjects.
Always. All right. Hannibal, I'm going to ask you one last question before we let you move on. What would be what has been the best era in your life that you look back on and say, I wish it was back to those days? Or is it in the future? Is the best yet to come?
I think the best time was in the 90s. It was when I was a teenager.
Okay.
And I felt like that was the best times of my life because I was living in Portugal. And it's a Mediterranean country, so I was living in a warm weather. And I was going to the beach all the time. And I had no worries. I had no responsibilities.
Oh, man.
And in that time, the world was such a great place, in my mind.
But are you just looking back on it and not with, what they call it, rose-tinted spectacles? Or maybe it was a great time.
Say that again, I didn't hear you.
Are you looking back on it and you're thinking it was all great? Maybe you'll look back on these times and say, it wasn't so bad on the lockdown. It's all perspective.
I just look at it, so when you're a child, I think that's supposed to be the best times of your life, though. And it really was. For me, not everyone, but for me personally, it was the best times of my life.
Oh, well, I hope the good times roll again.
Hopefully.
How about you? How was your childhood?
Well, look, Hannibal, I'm going to put you on hold, and we're gonna right. Hannibal, you.
I'm gonna leave you then.
Okay, Hannibal, I'm going to thank you, and we'll move it on to the next caller.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I hope you have the good times again. Let the good times roll.
All right, then. I'm locked in anyway.
Good man. We'll see you in the chat. Thank you.
All right, then. Bless.
Thank you. And
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you guys? You alright?
welcome, Hassan. This is Hassan Radwan from the chat onto the call.
Just a quick comment. I don't want to stay on too long.
No problem.
I don't know how long you want to go on for. But
Time is a construct. It doesn't matter.
Is a Sufi idea. I mean, basically, the Sufis had this idea of al-fana and al-baqa, which is fana means the destruction of the self, actually, and al-baqa with Allah. This was their kind of idea. That's why you have a lot of the the halaqat, which do zikr, where they get into an ecstatic state, where they're trying to get rid of the ego, the self, and the nafs.
Yes.
And basically they had this idea that, there is, in the Quran, everything will be destroyed except the face of Allah. In other words, everything will one day be destroyed and just Allah will exist, just God will exist. And in their eyes, God represents the whole of the existence and the real existence, and that our existence is some sort of illusion where we are separate from each other, and this causes all this conflict and pain. But the idea is to kind of get rid of the ego and join with Allah in some higher state of existence. This is a Sufi idea. I mean, it's not. It's something I've always been quite. I quite like the Sufis.
Of course, this is really sounding a lot like some Buddhist teachings, and the deeper we go, I'm finding the similarities between Buddhism and Islam, and it's something I would like to explore. Maybe we'll do a show on it.
I think when it comes to Sufism, it's very similar to a lot of this kind of Far Eastern philosophical beliefs as well, like you say, Buddhism, and there is a kind of a merging of all the traditions around the world in this kind of mystical. They share a lot of things together. All religions have a mystical side,
yes,
which they seem to come together. Sufism definitely shares a lot with a lot of mystical thoughts from different religions.
Yeah, definitely. I think you need both sides in life, right? And you've got the one extreme literalists that, I mean, I don't want to offend people by mentioning different groups, but there are people that say, no, God has a hand, he sits on a throne, he's this, he's exactly this. And there are people that don't even talk about that, just spin themselves round in a circle and get into an ecstatic state, and they are contemplating God as as a concept, as much, and something far greater than a physical form.
And if there's anything attracted a lot of people to Islam, I'd probably say Sufism, because how
Sorry, Sarah, I can't hear you very well. Sorry.
If there is anything attracted a lot of other. A lot of people were attracted to Islam through Sufism as well. Like that's what I've noticed myself.
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting.
It was very big in the 60s. I know that a friend of mine, Ahmed Thompson, and a lot of the English converts, they used to meet in Norwich and so on. They all came through Sufism.
Yes.
Interesting. You wouldn't know it now I'm generalising again, and I don't want to offend anyone, but most of the university Islamic societies will have a very Salafi slant. That's just something I've noticed. Call it good or bad, but that's accurate, would you say?
Yeah, unfortunately that is accurate because I'm not a big fan of the sort of Salafi Wahhabi view. But, I don't, look, at the end of the day, I try to be empathetic to everybody because we all have our different, if you like, it's the world is a stage, we're all playing our roles, and we'll all have our personalities and our characters, and God knows best what it will all come to, but maybe we'll all have our journey to go on.
Absolutely. Hassan Radwan, I'm going to end the show on your positivity. I appreciate the call. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Thank you very much for your call.
Thank you.
Ma as-salama.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, he always brings a positive slant to what has been a pleasant show. And we are hoping to be back tomorrow night at 10 o'clock.
If you are concerned about time.
Yeah, exactly 10 o'clock, 2200 hours. We'll go like, no, it's nice. I'm not going to keep this up forever, but it's been great to be going regular. Bob the Builder's just joined us. Sorry, Bob, we've done an hour, but another night you can join us. We were talking about time and the concept of time. Is it man-made? Is it constructed? Is it this? Is it that? And some people think we're in the end times.
And let's just hope that we all can be quite productive in this lockdown. We try and educate ourselves, and this has been a very good time for us as well to share all these knowledge and exchange it together through the channel. Thanks for everybody that has been watching from me, Dardasha, and say have a good evening, good night.
Well, we'll do it all again soon. We were here, and we are gone.
Later.
Laters.